Hi, my name is Joe Piervincenti, and today I would like to give a little talk on some recent experience. My career, and now in my retirement, I spend a great deal of time in observation of the environment and the people around me. And one of my areas that I'm keenly interested in is perception. When people see things and their perception of those things. I've noticed in a number of cases where people would observe me and then ask me questions. Now, when we look at things, I call it observable reality. For example, I go fishing. So I have a chair and a fishing pole and a cooler. So there are people that say, catch anything? And that makes sense because they see that I have a fishing pole and I'm near the water. But then there are times where I have that equipment and I am taking the bus and people say, what's all that stuff? And I say, well, let's take a look at this. What do I have? And they say, well, a fishing pole and a cooler, and that looks like a chair. And I say, that's correct. And where are we located? Along the Gulf of Mexico. I said, do you know what people with fishing poles and chairs and coolers do across the street from the Gulf of Mexico? And they say, go fishing? I say, that's right. So you know what this is, so why do you ask what is this stuff? Okay, that's one example. Another example is sometimes the fishing pole is invisible. I have it inside the pouch of the chair, and I have the reel inside the cooler, so you see a chair and a cooler. And people say, catch anything? So in this one case, I asked the gentleman, with all due respect, can I ask you a question? And he said, sure. I said, you see a chair and a cooler. You don't see a fishing pole. I don't have a fishing pole. So he said to me, well, I thought maybe you had one of those yo-yo rigs that you throw out by hand. I said, sir, that's something you imagined. You look at my equipment. I don't have a fishing pole or anything of that nature. But you imagine that I have something and you ask me a question based on that, but not on what you observe in reality. So he shrugs his shoulders and laughs and walks away. The point of all of this is the human mind operates in fascinating ways. And we form impressions in our mind of what someone else may be doing. And we ask the question, or we get the impression based upon what we imagine, not what we actually see. I always say that women are fascinating because every day they can come out of the house and look like a different person based on hair and color and makeup and jewelry and outfits and what have you. Whereas males are basically one look. Some variation, yeah, you could put on a suit and tie versus a t-shirt and shorts, but basically we see that you're the same person. Anyway, this forms the basis for a lot of understanding of human nature and explains a lot of why we have difficulty amongst each other and between ourselves because we're not perceiving each other accurately. My suggestion, therefore, is to pay attention to what you see and not to what you imagine, because there are cases where we could get dressed up and play a part and completely fool other people, like in the case of the con man or the actor. So my emphasis here is to get the facts and understand that impressions could be manipulated and you could be fooled. So if one is really curious about a situation, look at the facts of the matter, try to find those out, rather than imagine that you know something about the other person or what they're doing or what have you. Um, as a person who's fascinated with psychology and perception and this area of interest, I find that people are very, very vulnerable and could be misled greatly by the appearance of another. So, my advice is don't trust your impressions, learn what the facts are, and if the other person is really not pertinent to your life or your activities, you really don't have to intrude upon their privacy or their peace of mind and question them about their property or what they're doing, because really, number one, it's none of your business, and number two, it's intrusive. So if your mind is empty and idle and you don't have anything to do, get a book, put some earplugs in, listen to something. Um, just live your own life and leave the other people alone. We're much too intrusive in other people's business, much too quick to question other people, and that's really inappropriate and not socially acceptable. So that's my comment for today. This is something I've been thinking about for a long time and something I've been seeing for a long time, and I thought I would comment on it. If you've come this far, thank you, and I'll reply to reasonable, respectful, intelligent comments. Um, and on that note, have a great day. Bye.